BystanderTim.
Hey everybody, my name's BystanderTim, and today we're showing off Office Race, which, for the amount of time I've spent on this game, it's very surreal being on the GDQ stage. Let me go ahead and introduce my commentators. Obviously, you know, you love them. Amyrlinn's here, seemingly on a path to try and commentate every day of this marathon. How many are we at, Amy?
I think I counted it up, and I'm doing like 6 total, and I think I'm doing like half of the awful block. So it's great. I love these games so much, and specifically Office Race. Like Office Race is great.
Yeah, and then of course we have B, a pretty common name and running some pretty quirky games. How are you doing, B?
I'm good. I'm kind of just stuck here forever. I've played this game before, technically.
Yeah,
so
we were.
qualified.
I was gonna say we were in the same room when I made you play this game for the first time.
That's true. I remember.
Already,
one of the best.
We
days
do
of
have
my
2
life.
incentives that I saw. One got met, so we will be turning on Quack mode. And the way you turn on Quack mode is you type in QUACK, and as you'll see, Quack enabled. This was found by From Darkhell. He is a resident glitch hunter in the Borderlands community, and I just had him look at the code, and he found a bunch of things that happen on the main menu when you type in Quack.
Tim,
and then we also...
You mentioned it before the run. I'll throw this challenge out there to chat. I'm gonna donate $1 per every quack that we hear. So, if you care to match me on that, I'll be counting up the quacks.
Alrighty. And then we do have a bid war on the skin. So what skin are we going with, Enigma?
This is incredibly close. I'm going to wait for one last refresh here in about 10 seconds because it is very close. I'm going to wait for one more sweep. We got about 5 seconds left, and it's close. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, last refresh. All right. Winning by $2 is the UFO costume choice.
Alrighty,
Excellent.
so
That's just how fast it goes.
I gotta click on it. Alrighty, we have the UFO.
I love this game. Already.
Alrighty, so time's gonna start when I select the first level and I hit play. This is a new glitch I found today, by the way. The game has just been wanting it. Like it pans over to different menus. And sometimes when I just click and it does this animation, it's just like, what if I head back?
Nah. not feeling this one
Already.
today.
So, all right, I'm gonna give a countdown. We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. So I think the best way to give a first impression of Office Race is just to let this intro animation speak for itself.
Oh, there was one.
Alrighty, so right off the bat, it's gonna look very, very weird, but this is a racing game where you race around an office in various office chairs, and there's a lot happening all at once here. I boosted right off the beginning with one of the power-ups, so I'll be going over that in a second, and you also saw me do a QTE. So this is definitely a racing game with some inspired ideas, and that is our first race. So a lot just happened there, and I'll break it down as we go through it. So first things first is that there's a bunch of different power-ups. The easiest one that we can use is the fire extinguisher, mainly because it's the first one that's selected, and it's the easiest to control. Now, as you can see, we have a bunch of different obstacles that are available, or that are in our way, and the game mechanic in order to counter those obstacles is we're going to do some QTEs. So there are 3 different types of QTEs. There's sequence, which is pressing a specific set of keys. There's repeat, and then there's hold. And it is random which QTE might show up. And it is even random whether or not they work, because a definite run killer I've had is some QTEs will just freeze up and won't accept inputs. It's really, really great.
Yeah, they're notoriously difficult to hit, even if you like are right on it. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Like, we played this a bunch in the practice room at, I think, like, AGDQ 2020 or something like that. And they just don't work sometimes.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And then the other thing, and it's definitely the reason why this speedrun, by the way, that's a live wire just hanging out there. Real great, real great obstacle for your friendly racing game. So the other thing is that there is a lap glitch. Now, unlike most traditional racing games, or I guess most similar to Mario Kart, and one of the worst comparisons that I'm going to be making at 4 in the morning, is there is a way to skip laps. It's gone through a couple different variations, but the thing we found in the very, very small office race community is that you can finish the first lap, and then there is no wall to check whether or not you have gone around a second time. So the main strat is I will be hanging on to at least one of my power-ups in order to boost over the finish line a bunch right at the end.
It's great. You cross the finish line, and then every time you cross the finish line, the game's like, you did it.
Yeah. No, and the best part is you could be in like 5th or 6th place. Like, there are 9 racers, I want to say, right here. And you could be in 5th or 6th place and then just cheat. And everybody is like, I didn't see it. But yeah, go ahead, B.
I was just going to mention that if this game looks annoying to control and difficult to maneuver around, you'd be correct. This game is a pain to, like, you just pinball off of everything. Turning around is super slow. If you miss, like, one of the tight doorways, it's just a pain to, like, wiggle your way back onto where you want to go. There's just a ton of, it's an office. There's just a ton of stuff in the way. It's a frustrating game to play. I don't know how Tim does it. Tim does the same.
By
going through this game willingly.
By taking long breaks from it when I'm upset.
And you run this game more than once.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't a one-off. You did this for, like, a show, right? On Huffix?
Yeah. So it's a perfect way to talk about how I found this game. So for the people watching at home who might not have been into an in-person GDQ, sometimes there's very little marathon watching that goes on and a lot of hanging out in the practice room. And so I walk into the practice room one day and I just see a group of people giggling in a corner. And I'm like, what are we doing here? And they found this game. And that slowly became the first meeting of the office race community because it was just organic discovery. And I found it at SGDQ 2018. I gave it a try, wrong direction, apparently.
Yeah.
I gave it a try, and then I first submitted it to AGDQ 2020. As Enigma mentioned earlier, it got in as backup the same year I got that Destiny 2 run in. And AGDQ 23 was finally the year that it got in.
The year
of office race. I was going to say the year of the rabbit and the year of office race.
Oh, we needed the rabbit costume. Dang it. Is there a rabbit costume?
No.
All right, well, there should be.
Well, needs to be a patch.
Yeah, well, given the fact that I'm 90% sure the lap glitch was added when either they added Polish language support or controller support, I don't know about the consequences of asking for a rabbit costume. Oh, God.
Again, this game is very cool to control.
No, turn around.
We were talking about it.
That's what she said.
Oh, goodness.
So one thing we have been talking about is we've been talking about the cons of the controls. However, when you have spent, and I've checked my Steam playtime, 20 hours-ish playing this game, you definitely learn a little bit about the quirks of controlling it. One thing to note is that you do see me wiggling around in my chair. It's very easy to gain top speed for your... It's definitely very easy for you to gain top speed in your office chair by wiggling around. So I'm going to be mashing the left and right keys a bunch here. By the way, you're seeing some of the other power-ups, like this guy with a bull head. Oh, there's just a guy in the way.
Yep.
So there are some of the other power-ups. Oh, here's one of my other favorite obstacles. There's just a bunch of people throwing pencils. And I failed that, apparently.
Wait, and then you... Oh, I thought you just died.
Yeah, I mean...
The run is over.
As far as I know, things don't work out when you get a pencil in the eye. And you're flying down a hallway at however fast these office chairs go.
I don't know. Have you thought of like the geometry of this office and how this is?
I don't know,
out?
but whatever business that they're doing here isn't very optimal because these offices are impossible to work around.
I mean,
it's the same architects that made the Pet the Pup at the Party House. Like they're just going wild.
to be fair, I've worked a couple office jobs. On Fridays, we definitely do this. Like,
On Fridays, we do throw pencils at each other's and have live wires exposed. It's just part of our
I
work
wouldn't say
culture.
throw pencils at each other, but like, I'm not saying we
They're
didn't
not
raise
pencils,
chairs
they're
around
pens.
the office.
Yeah, no,
You know?
it's a mechanical pencil office.
They're
You're right.
mechanical
My
pencils. Come
apologies.
on, we have standards.
Oh, this is definitely one of the level design highlights. B was talking about really, really tight corners. Just look at this mini map here.
Oh yeah, so this is something I wanted to ask. Are the levels randomly generated, or is it the same every time? Because
No, they're they're static levels. I have like a idea of a route here. However, some days it's like, yeah, you make that turn, and other days you're like, I'll just eat the QTE time because
that's wild. Because this seems like procedurally generated.
yep.
Yeah, but there's like different routes through the level. Like there's multiple ways to go through. It's weird. There's just like shortcuts and stuff, and it's all laid out and like.
Yeah, there's like an idea.
There's stuff.
There's like an
happening.
idea of a decent video game here. And then it's sort of like, oh, okay, we're gonna give you like a B plus on the execution here, and then we're gonna give you a D minus on. Yeah,
Not still A plus. I don't know what you're talking about. This is what video.
yeah, we
games
were
do.
talking about it earlier. This is the pinnacle of video games.
I mean, honestly, our good friend Author Blues always says, even with jank games like this, these guys still made a game. They put something out in the world, which is impressive. It's very hard to make a video game.
No, definitely over the years when it comes to like, oh, this game is horrible. I've grown on it. It definitely has its perks. There's a lot of little ideas, and it's like, yeah, if we gave them like 5 times the budget and like 10 more developers, this would definitely be a really, really fun little indie game.
Yeah, and similar to what Amy was saying, I would rather have someone make a weird, just out there game that like doesn't work but it's like memorable than like a boring game like that. I would rather have this than like any other game.
I'm saving the GDQ audience ears, but that water cooler QTE fail is one of my favorite sounds, I think, in any video game. Because for the Foley work, it seemingly is like they just took a jug of water and slammed it against the microphone. It's just really unbalanced and loud.
These people that are trying to work today that are like stuck in like an island of desks that are all surrounded. They're stuck there for the entire office.
Yeah, I don't know the terms and like exact agreement of what we were doing in terms of how we set up the office race, but I'm gonna talk about the plot here. Is that when you
plot?
Yeah, there's
there
plot.
sure is.
It's the game boots up and you get an email from your boss that's like, I'm gonna be away for the weekend. I'm gonna be away for the weekend. No racing in the office.
Yeah, implying this is a extremely constant problem that he's dealing with.
Yeah, if you see on some of the walls there are signs that say do not race. And then when they set up the race, all the office employees just cross out. They put like a no sign on the they put like a no sign over the not, so it's do race.
That's so good.
It's wonderful visual storytelling.
Yeah. And oh good, I clipped through that. I can't get out of there.
Cool.
I've definitely had some times where I've like tried to search for QTEs or for like out of bounds here, because there's definitely some like preliminary idea of an out of bounds in this game, because as I mentioned before, sometimes QTEs will fail, and when you go in a QTE, you have no collision. You are not solid. And when those QTEs fail, you will get stuck in a menu, but you will also just fly through all the geometry and be unable to move. So there's definitely some version of this where you clip out of bounds and you just go back over the finish line.
I gotta okay, two things. A, I gotta respect the people who are taking the time to put up all those boxes. Like, that's intricate work. B, your boss said he was away for the weekend.
Okay, so maybe I didn't read the email and just took it, because I mean, the subject line was like no racing.
But like, why would they come in on the weekend to do this? I mean, I guess I would.
I would do this. I would do this.
Now that I'm saying, absolutely.
Is this not what happens in the GDQ studio?
Is
not what you guys do after the marathon's over?
Can't reveal the secret.
Okay. Oh no.
It's just us pod racing through the various offices.
We're unavailable that Saturday. Why? Important reasons.
Loud crashing noises in the background and exposed electrical wires.
It's fine, Mike. We're just setting things up for the marathon. Don't worry.
Am I gonna say on stream that Mike retired from a freak office racing accident?
Mike, you ever retired from GDQ to do this?
Full time? Full time.
Yeah, full time.
His true calling. Yeah. Could have gone pro. One thing I noticed is that when you go next to the other like CPUs that you're racing against, that it has a little sticky note that pops up and reminded me that you can just knock people over if you want to.
Yeah, definitely. That is there.
I don't think it does anything useful at all for the run. Oh, that guy just died. Goodbye. But yeah.
Yeah, there is.
You can't play this with other people. You can play this against other people.
Yeah, there is multiplayer. There's multiplayer.
Yeah.
There's split screen multiplayer, because who doesn't want to be the guy at the LAN party who shows up with a copy of Office Race?
True. Actually, I'm going to a LAN next week. Maybe I'll bring this.
Might as well.
The other fun thing is that when you plug in a controller, you can do multiple input methods, where it's like one person's playing on a keyboard and one person's playing on a controller. My favorite part about sometimes practicing this game is I will leave the controller plugged in and boot up the game, and it'll be where it normally tells you what all the buttons do for all the controllers. It'll be like controller plugged in. And then I'll be like, okay, maybe I'll try playing it with the controller. And then a QTE will pop up and it'll be like button 1 and button 3. And I'm like, no, what? And
Wait,
then
so if you match, you just fail them?
Well, it depends on the QTE.
Okay, true.
At the same time, it's like the window is somehow really open for or really lenient for the QTEs. At the same time, if you just start wrong, the game's like, no, you're committed. Yeah. I was gonna talk about the power-ups, and then I think we got on the pencil tangent. All the power-ups are some various version of boosting. The fire extinguisher is very easily the easiest to control, but there's like somebody had the bullhead before. There's a pair of boxing gloves. I think there's like just a generic shield power-up. I don't know.
Just the normal stuff you find around the office.
I also haven't talked about the tiers of racing. There's 14 levels and there's a boss fight. And yes, I said there's a boss fight. And one thing to note is that as the races have gone on, we've gotten access to more and more power-ups. This is a little bit helpful. It's like the Mario Kart time trials. If they just gave you another mushroom. By the way, here's a coffee machine that's just shooting out hot coffee.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. I ducked.
It's fine.
That's okay. I ducked. Here's another cubicle maze.
Oh no.
It's astonishing to me that like you go through just cardboard boxes super easily, but not like the desks.
Yeah,
or that
I mean,
like it doesn't hurt you.
Or water. Just water? Just go
I
straight
mean, from the comedy stylings of the person who had a live hanging wire, they also just set the sprinklers off. I feel like I could write a novel about all the things I notice in this game sometimes. For example, the guy with the jersey with the I forget if I put it as an option for the incentive. The guy with the jersey with the fish on it, and the skin name is Fisherman. And so I tell people, it's like, yeah.
I guess.
So I tell people that it's like, yeah, there's a fisherman skin, but it's not what you think. Because it is just fish or man.
Yeah. It's a little bit too early for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I at least mentioned a fish, so we've met our food crime quota for for this run.
Okay.
I'm still counting up all the quacks. I'm having a great time listening for those.
Yeah,
I just like all the wheeze. The one voice line repeatedly.
look, if somebody in chat, we've already put up the challenge of the quacks, and so far, people who are counting the quacks haven't had to do much. So if somebody wants to donate for every time they've heard a wee,
we will hit 1 million if someone does that.
Hey, and then
One
we get to
person
play a
does that.
better racing game with Mario Kart. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, you should donate for Mario.
Yeah,
Kart.
let's get that bonus game met. That
If
way,
you want to see the little brother of Office Race, you know.
yeah, the little.
The game that was inspired by Office
Yeah,
Race.
all the Mario Kart devs looked at this game and it's like, I think we could work on it. But what if instead of a desk job, we did a blue collar job and put a plumber in there?
Yeah. We'll see you in court, Nintendo.
Small indie dev fights Nintendo over the concept of Mario Kart. What a concept! All right, we're on race 13.
How many
There's
races
14
are there?
races. I just looked at that number 2 and I'm like, how far are we in this run?
Tim's like, this was fun. I'm done with this.
No, this run should never end.
I was gonna say this.
Forever.
This is probably a great time to mention that also that same first version of the game I found. By the way, somebody just put a cart in the way. The same first version of the game I found at SGQ 2018. I mentioned that there was a boss fight before. That's a great thing to mention because back then we did not know how to get the boss fight unlocked. And we think that it was behind getting all the gold medals, but that was also back when we had to do every lap of every race. So for the first 6 months until we actually found the lap glitch, it's like, yeah, we're just gonna make the main speedrun category all races since I'm 90% sure the boss is unplayable. We just declared it on the speedrun.com leaderboards. Which is a great problem for a community to have. It's like, yeah, any percent is beating the game, right? Yeah, but what if you can't beat the game? I don't even think the dev could have beaten the game at that point.
I like how it just cuts off the ending. Congratulations.
Yeah. Luckily, I'm on a new save file because for some reason the dev decided to be cheeky and some of the reward sounds that you hear from unlocking new stuff is definitely a choice.
I like it.
Yeah. There's some fun sounds, but sometimes you don't even get that victory fanfare. You get other things.
Oh, I keep hearing the quack and being like, is that a duck? And then remembering, oh yeah, I'm counting those.
What, who let a duck in the office? Wait a minute. I let the ducks in the office.
Who do you think the final boss is? The giant
It's
duck.
four ducks in a trench coat rolling around in an office chair.
Not even the weirdest thing in this game.
No, but it's definitely something that somebody should make on Twitter.
It'll be in the
DLC. It'll be in the Office Race DLC.
It's coming, I promise.
They'll add another language support and break that'll come with something else.
Yeah. They'll add like Japanese, and then like 10 new levels will appear as well.
I don't know. I don't want to think about the Office Race Battle Pass.
Oh man.
Anyway, so now that we've completed all 14 races, this would be the part where you normally get an email from your boss that's like, "Are you racing in my office? I'm coming back and we're going to settle this." And so, out of all of the wonderful things that Office Race does, what is the main concept of a boss fight? Well, it's just you and the boss, and then there's also no map. So they decided that the main challenge is going to be you have no concept of a specific route. Like all the other races have had set paths that like you should head down. This one feels like an unfinished level. So it's definitely something.
Well, okay.
Oh, okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Okay. Uh-huh.
I mean,
So-
I respect the that the boss came in and said, "No, I have to beat them at their own game."
Definitely. I definitely think it's like, by the way, some of the employees are trapped. Like they're in cages.
They seem really happy about it.
I like that QT you never ever duck in time for that.
No,
QT.
like I said, you don't have a collision. But the game is programmed to do an animation when you finish the QTE or you fail it. So it's just like something's gonna happen. Sometimes you open that door in time, sometimes you fly through it, and then your hand just happens on the background. Ay.
I don't know how you maneuver through this at all. I've played this. I know it's
Like I said, it's a lot of trial and error, and it's definitely a lot of judging distance and forgetting that, oh, those fun boxes that you definitely could get through. Yeah, there's a wall behind them this time. Because some of the hazards, they have boxes blocking it, and then you slam into the boxes, and there's just another wall there. And yet some other times it's like, yeah, you can slam through boxes, and then there's nothing there. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
And think
By
about
the way,
it, you
so
have to do
time,
these like 3
time
times.
is when I finish this. Time.
Think fast.
Alrighty, and that is Office Race. So I want to give a bunch of shout outs. I'm going to open up the Office Race Discord because there's enough names where I can list them all without having it being an issue. I want to give a thanks to Flurgady, Skateman, Scrublord, Sneaky, and Straxrouse for entertaining me while I'm like, yeah, but what if this game really made it into a GDQ one day after I found it in a CDQ 2018? I want to thank Bullets. I want to thank amyrlinn. I want to thank all my friends who have heard me rattle on nonsense about this game for 5 years. And while this is ending on a sad note, I do want to dedicate this run to my mom. She did end up passing away at the end of August last year, and she was always a big fan. Even as she didn't understand it, she was always a big fan of me using my hobby of video games to provide great change in the world. And I just wanted to say that I'm always so appreciative of what GDQ does as a charity and what GDQ does as a community, using this already built-in concept of like talking about your favorite video games and showing off your favorite video games and using that to create real and lasting world change. And so if you haven't already, like, please support the charity, watch a bunch of really cool runs, watch a bunch of really awesome things, and also go check out the speedrun.com page for Office Race. It's very, very inactive because I'm pretty much the only runner right now, but we do have a Discord, and maybe we'll breathe new life into this game. But for all that, thanks for watching. I really appreciate you tuning in. It's been a pleasure.
I want to update on the quacks before I go. We had 35 quacks. So, chat, $35, one per quack. I'm going to do it. Are you going to do it?
The challenge has been set. Thank you, BystanderTim. That was an amazing run. Claps in the chat. 24 minutes, 27 seconds of Office Race. And well done on the kind words at the end. Your mother may be gone, but I'm sure her proudness of you will absolutely live forever. That was awesome. Thank you, Tim. Bystander Tim. Thank you very much. And we had a lot of donations coming on in for that one. We had $25 from Radio Chew says, wee! Couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. Awesome. Thank you, Radio Chew, for the $25. And $50 from Fallen Isel, who says, I love staying up for Awful Block, even if the games end up giving me some really weird dreams. Lizard Ladies? Alien Office Chair Racing? Yolanda? What am I watching? Shoutouts to the runners who find these and run these games and keep us all entertained overnight. Also, thank you to everyone behind the scenes keeping the event running smooth. Thank you, Isel. And AGDQ 2023 Online will be right back. All right, and welcome back to AGDQ 2023 Online. We still got a lot of donations coming on in here. Who says it's slow at night? It is not slow at all. Listen to this. We just got a $1,000 donation. Another one. A $1,000 donation from Big Bad Gameathon. They say, BBG here, take all our bits and subs from this year's marathon to support PCF. Awful Block is the best part of the GDQ marathon, and all the runners who are willing to play bad, flawed, and weird games for our entertainment are amazing. Thank you to all the staff, runners, and volunteers who make GDQ what it is. Thank you so much for the $1,000. Thank you for that very kind gesture as well. Big Bad Game-a-thon. Thank you. We had $100 from Drailer, who says, if the 1992 masterpiece Disney film, The Mighty Ducks, has taught us anything, it's that ducks fly together. Quack, 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 quack. Thank you, Drailer. That is correct. Thank you for the $100. We had another $5 from Jay Poppy, who says, quack. We have a $25 anonymous donation that says, is this the wee version of the Stanley Parable? Wee, wee. Race, go fast, wee, and prevent cancer. Wee. All right, coming up next, our next run for AGDQ 2023 online is ready to go. Our next runner doing their 7th mainline GDQ. Saw him a few months ago doing Happy Humble's Burger Farm at SGDQ 2022. This will be the first time we've seen this game as well on a GDQ. We got Salamander County Public Television coming up. The category is any percent. Everybody say hello to Teddy Rass.